morning, everyone. Good evening. Good afternoon. It's a great pleasure being part of this international conference on the topic Indigenous Knowledge System for Sustainable Future. I'm Dr. Professor Beatriz Lúcia Salvador Bisotto, postdoctoral fellow at the University of Aveiro, Portugal, professor at the University Center Unifacvest, Lages, in Santa Catarina, Brazil, national and international conference speaker, and national and international book writer and editor. Thank you so much, Dr. Dwiti Diwari, for inviting me. It's a great pleasure. Indigenous Knowledge System of Brazil and its relevance for sustainable future. Traditional knowledge of indigenous peoples is considered an intangible cultural heritage. Indigenous peoples, also known as original peoples, were the pioneering inhabitants of Brazil, possess a vast body of knowledge developed historically and anthropologically, including techniques such as medicinal practices, natural resources management, rituals, and customs. Their knowledge is diverse and complex, reflecting the diversity of their societies. This affirms the potential of these communities. Aboriginal sciences are significant because they prioritize environmental preservation, unlike some technological and industrial practices that can disrupt the natural balance. Additionally, this knowledge is recognized as intangible cultural heritage, based it is compass biological, natural, and cultural diversity. The recognition of the traditional knowledge of indigenous peoples associated with biological diversity as cultural heritage. Anthropological practices such as indigenous knowledge, folklore, and traditional medicine are still being developed and preserved by certain groups. Therefore, knowledge is transmitted within a community and varies across societies. Anthropological and historical aspects are crucial for its preservation and improvement as it is passed down through generations. It is important to maintain a logical flow of information and avoid biased language. Indigenous people's relationship with nature. Even today, these communities are still considered non-dominant social sectors. The main aim of these efforts is to preserve, develop, and transmit the ethnic identity of the group. Even today, these communities are considered non-dominant. Their main goal is to preserve, develop, and pass their ethnic identity, cultural, and ancestral territories to future generations. Given that these peoples integrate and interact with multiple ecosystems, biodiversity, and its maintenance are crucial issues that require mutual cooperation between indigenous communities and nature for the viability of sustainable development. It is important to ensure an ecologically sound environment. The economic exploitation of resources. Unbridled resource extraction poses a threat to the balance of daily life and Aboriginal communities. It can put the balance of nature at risk, leading to the extinction of species and pollution. Therefore, the concept of protecting and emphasizing environmental education is crucial for maintaining ecological balance and biodiversity. This, in turn, will benefit the preservation of indigenous peoples as their historical and anthropological knowledge. And the relevance. The importance of traditional knowledge is demonstrated not only by its role in preserving cultures and social diversity, but also by its environmentally friendly nature. Traditional knowledge is practiced with respect for the natural renewal time of resources, ensuring sustainability. Traditional knowledge, its use and maintenance is an alternative for sustainable development. It helps to preserve biodiversity, ensure the potential to become and serve future generations while addressing the social, economic, and political challenge of promoting people's well-being while maintaining a balanced environment. However, to raise awareness of its importance, the social public and private sectors must work in harmony with indigenous societies and other groups that maintain traditional knowledge, if they desire to do so. When there is contact between cultures or any other type of interest or studies carried out in communities. The perpetuity of species. Protecting traditional knowledge means guaranteeing everyone's right to cultural diversity equally without preservations. This requires recognition of the difference between peoples and mutual respect, which is crucial for indigenous communities. It is evident that the traditional knowledge of indigenous communities is an integral part of their cultural heritage and must be preserved. This is crucial for the survival of these communities as cultural compasses all practices, customs, language, religions, symbologies, systems of social organization, and forms of transmitting knowledge among others. In particular, indigenous cultures has been protected with emphasis in federal constitutions. Brazilians, the culture and the world. Brazilian teas have a strong influence from indigenous culture, which uses them to cure illnesses. They are made from herbs and medicinal plants from the forest itself. When indigenous tribes are visited, they offer their teas as a welcome. These teas are infused with plants, bark, and dried fruit. It is important to note that this information is presented without any subject evaluations. The language used is clear, concise, and very neutral with a formal register and precise word choice. Originating of teas. In Brazil, it is common to prepare tea by using dried leaves and plants. The teas we offer are derived from plants that have been traditionally used for medicinal purpose by indigenous peoples. Some of the plants that are commonly used to prepare tea include rosemary, boldo, rue, fennel, lemon balm, and parsley. Other plants that are used include carcaja herb, basil, pennyroyal, chamomile, guaco, and babosa. Peculiarities of tea in Brazil. New drinks and teas have emerged in Brazil from these elements, along with the new ways of consuming them over time. Yerba mate, which is also widely consumed, can be considered a type of tea because it contains infused herbs. Other types of tea that are part of Brazilian culture include black tea and green tea. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so happy, and you are invited to come to Brazil to drink our chimarrão, as it's called the erba tea. Thank you so much.